Hi everybody, welcome to the video for week 4 of TESL2003. This week we'll be talking about strategies, activities, groupings, and purposes. Our week 4 assignments. You're going to read the documents that are related to the planning activities that we have listed. You're going to be able to do the discussion forum. You are going to be doing your lesson plan for the section that's due on week 4. You're going to be viewing the PowerPoint activities and strategies and appropriate EL speech and strategies. That's what we're looking for week 4. Here is the video and explanation for appropriate EL speech and strategies for questioning prompts for different levels of language acquisition. A think aloud strategy, which in my opinion is the most important strategy that teachers can use to reach their goals. Just basically thinking out loud what's going on in your head, whether it's a math problem you're working through or a story that you're reading, to show the strategies that go in your head, but sharing them out loud, because students who are not fluent readers do not know what goes on in a fluent reader's head. Here's another called Secret Answer, a short story flowchart, reader, writer, speaker strategy, and the strategy SQP2RS, the strategy What Do You Know? Here is the PowerPoint resource with activities and strategies and supplementary resources, your discussion forum. As I said earlier, initial post Tuesday, response post due Friday. So this here is worth explaining to you what you'll be doing for your discussion forum for week 4. It asks you to open and view all of the strategy resources in week 4 and review everything there in the resources section. Describe a learning situation you participated in or observed in which the teacher modeled how to do something, and so on and so on and so on. Everything is laid out for you right there, and you need to answer those questions within your forum post. You need to have at least 2 APA resources. Even though you're bringing a personal connection to this, you need to back up your position and thoughts with true research and documentation. Going back to week 4, here's your lesson plan section. That is due for week 4. It's the last thing you'll be doing. As I said in week 1, these activities are put in a particular order for a reason. We'll open up that week 4 lesson plan. Oops, not what I wanted there. And this is what you're going to be working on for week 4. It's about how you're delivering instruction. Notice the highlighted areas going across the top. The time needs to go in there for everything. It's worth a point for each section. The learning activities. What will you do to build background knowledge and get the student's attention? Something like an example would be Foursquare, one of the links that I've given you to read through, or another vocabulary activity. That's worth 5 points. And then underneath differentiation strategies, this is that part where some of you I had mentioned for week 2 needed to be specific in what you were going to be doing for ELs and different levels of students, but especially ELs in this section. That's worth 5 points. That's where you're going to reiterate. You talked about some plan supports, but they want to know, this lesson plan demands that you say what happens, what differentiation strategies happen in your lesson intro, in your main body of your lesson, and in the closure. So it's not just, oh, I'm going to give people help if they need it. This is not an on-the-fly situation where you can say, oh, if anybody struggles with reading the word, I'll help them. Or I could do this for that. It's for my EL students. I will provide support by blah, 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 blah. Okay? Like in what support you give them might have a lot to do with whether your ELs have any English at all and so on. But that is specifically a support for ELs and other kinds of students, like gifted students, low students. That's a pretty hefty section right there. That is a pretty big section. And your purpose for it, 5 points. How will you further your students' learning in relation to the learning outcomes? In other words, what's this going to do? If one of my learning outcomes is to make sure that my students understand fact families, then how am I going to further their learning so that they can understand those fact families? What's the purpose for doing the learning activities that I'm doing to meet that particular learning outcome? The same thing goes for the main body of the lesson. This is a good part for questions, strategies, turn and talk, think alouds, and so on and so on. And for closure, how will your lesson end? Each of these sections are extremely important, and you can see how many points each is worth. This is the biggest portion of points for a weekly lesson plan segment. So you have a lot going on. You have a lot going on this week to learn and read about. Remember, I ask that you do all of the activities and do the assignments in order because you need certain things to do them. You need to read all of the activities to be able to complete the lesson plan and the discussion forum. So, as always, if anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. During this week, during week 4, I will be out of the state for 4 days. It doesn't mean that I'm not available to you. I will check my email several times a day, but I will be about 3 hours time difference. So keep that in mind and make sure that you are prepared for what you need to do, because your turnaround time might be closer to a day than how it typically is now, which is usually within just hours or sometimes minutes. So I hope everyone has a wonderful week, and I look forward to talking with you soon.